Hey everyone, Susan Richard here from 1010 Wins Radio, and we're so excited to be joined by Colin Hanks, yay!
Hello,
Star
hello.
of Life in Pieces on CBS, Thursday night at 8:30. Welcome. Are you having a blast doing the show or what?
I am, yeah. We got the nice little light here. We're all good. This is very nice.
Well, I'm not this show, but this show. Life in
that
Pieces.
show? Yeah, that show's fine. This show, particularly, though, is much better. No, I'm having a very fun time on the show. It's great. We've got a great group of people. We have a lot of fun, and I think it shows.
Well, amazing cast. I mean,
Yeah.
Diane Weiss, that's like an actor's dream.
Absolutely. Oh, my goodness. Just a normal, anybody's dream, yeah. She's fantastic.
So this show is shot kind of differently from most sitcoms. You don't have one plot line that goes over the whole half hour with subplots. This is different. Tell us about that and how that makes a difference to you as an actor.
Well, yeah. So a majority of sort of network 30-minute comedies, if you will have an A, B, or C story, and they sort of intertwine throughout the course of the 22 minutes or however long, and that's sort of tried and true method of telling stories, and it's very effective and it works. But what we do, we break up our stories. So instead of intertwining them, we actually tell them separately. So we have 4 short stories every week, each one focusing on a different member of this multi-generational family, the Short family, and so it's a very interesting new way of being able to tell this family story. I mean, we're not really necessarily breaking new ground in terms of, a family or anything like that. It's all very relatable. It's all, stuff that pretty much everybody can kind of relate to. But the method in which we tell the story is so unique and so different that it creates this new method for us to be able to tell jokes and to incorporate humor and to tell different family members' their stories from different perspectives, which I find to be very interesting and very engaging. And it was one of the reasons why I chose to do the show, because it was so different, because the stories were being told in a different way. I thought that was something really interesting and different and was incredibly appealing to me.
Does that create any kind of interesting challenge for you as an actor?
It does, only because, what you end up doing is being able to really live with characters for a specific amount of time. Instead of sort of breaking a story up, we're able to tell that story from beginning, middle, and an end, sometimes in as quick as 4 or 5 minutes, which means that sometimes you can film all of your stuff in one day and be done. So it's great from a schedule perspective for me. I got 2 small kids, so I got to be home a majority of the time. But it's great because you can film all your stuff, you could be done, and then you can sort of wipe your hands and go home. The problem is that means you got to film all of your stuff in one day, so sometimes that day can get pretty hectic.
So you have to have your lines memorized.
Yeah, but we also, we shoot it's called a single camera show, but we'll actually shoot cameras at the same time, so we get different perspectives, so we're able to sort of improv and come up with stuff and really sort of be in the moment. So from an acting perspective, it's actually a lot of fun because we get to play around. We get to really make things work and try and make things feel authentic, feel real, but at the same time sort of have a heightened comedic sensibility.
So it's about a family, and I think it's fair to say that, these folks are, kind of wacky, a little neurotic, in
Like
New York,
every family.
Exactly. In New York, we get neurotic. We totally get it. Is that something that, you can identify with? Maybe
Absolutely.
In the Hanks family?
Oh yeah, listen. I mean, every family has its own quirks, its intricacies, its differences, and my family is the same. I mean, it's one of the things that I liked. This show is really about a multi-generational family, so it's about the parents, their kids, their grandkids, and each sort of family unit is going home and kvetching about the other family, the other family units, and then they all get thrown together, and then what that alchemy does to the relationships, and bringing up stuff from 25 years ago, things of that nature. So yeah, I mean, my family's the exact same. The stuff that I'm complaining about to my wife about my family or her family, it's all the same stuff. It's all.
But they all
game.
love each other. That's real clear.
Yes, that's all very clear. You may not have chosen them, but you're stuck with them, so you might as well enjoy it and love them as much as you possibly can.
So let's talk about some of the crazy stuff they've had your character do. I mean, the very first episode, there was a thing with a rubber glove, which we simply cannot talk about on 1010 Wins. But what's coming up? What can we expect? The next episode, you guys go on some sort of a spa thing?
The next episode, we finally get a relaxing moment to go for a couple spa, and a horrible car accident happens outside, so it makes it impossible to relax, but it makes you appreciate the family that you have. Yeah, every week it's sort of a different thing. It's funny, a majority of time a show, you only have to really break one story, one specific thing that you have to do. But on our show, you have to break 4 of them because it's 4 specific stories. And so each week, from week to week, I'm never really sure exactly what is going to happen, what we're going to do. But every week I seem to be entertained by what they come up with.
You directed a documentary that came out last fall about Tower Records. How cool. Like, I remember buying, 45s. I have my 45 of Carly Simon. Haven't got time for the pain. So let's talk a little bit about that, about the different kind of storytelling and what attracts you to one over the other.
Well, yeah, I mean, the Tower doc really came about because I was living here in New York and I had some free time, and Tower was closing its doors, and we share a birthplace. Both Tower and I are from Sacramento, California, and I'd spent a lot of money at Tower Records growing up. And I found out that Russ Solomon, the founder, had started selling used 78s out of his father's drugstore in 1941. And once I found that out, I sort of went, well, what a fascinating trajectory that man was on. You start selling, your first records in 1941 out of your classic Americana soda fountain drugstore. And then in 2006, you're closing almost 200 stores around the world. And it's in the music industry, I'm sure there's some amazing stories. And that really sort of started me off. I'm not a writer, at least not a solitary writer. And all of the other good writers were already paired up with people. So I needed to come up with some sort of other creative outlet. And documentaries were always something that really fascinated me. And it was one of those things, I just knew that there was a story there. I knew that it was engaging because music is there's such a personal connection that people have with music. And, with all the stores closing, not just Tower specifically, but sort of music stores, record stores in general, there is a connective tissue between the store and the music that you purchased, the store that you purchased that music at. And I knew that there was a great fondness for Tower because I had it, and I didn't even work there. And so that really got me interested in finding out who are the people that worked there, what kind of stories they had. And I ended up finding out that Tower was an incredibly unique company that did things very, very differently. But there are people that dedicated, 20, 25, 30 years of their life working for this company. And then all of that was taken away. And so I just felt that there were so many different levels that I found engaging, so many different stories that I found engaging. I felt that would be a good documentary. And so I basically just kept telling myself that for 7 years.
Wow.
Over the course of making it. And the response has been great. We were out in theaters in October. It was just released on iTunes and Amazon. We're on all the streaming services now. And, I have never tired of people's Tower stories. So many people have come up to me and told me, instances where they ran into somebody at a store, or that's where they bought their first record, or anything like that. And I'm engaged by all of them. I think they're all sort of fascinating in their own way.
Any other film projects in the works, or are we going to see you back on Broadway? Or
I'm trying. We definitely have some more documentary features in the work, which are exciting. None of which I can really talk about right now, unfortunately. But definitely got some other stuff in the pressure cooker, so to speak, and hopefully a whole lot more Life in Pieces in the future.
Yeah. Well, congratulations with the show.
Thank you.
Life in Pieces on CBS. Colin Hanks, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Thank you. And cut.